Alright, what is going on today, YouTube? Welcome back to your favorite cyclist and this week's Bike Quick Talks. This week, we're going to talk about two very simple things called your braking system. Should you go with a basic rim brake or should you go with a disc brake? Stay tuned to find out. But before we continue, if you are new to the channel, make sure you head down below, hit that subscribe button. If it is red, that means you are not subscribed to the channel, so you're missing out on all these great videos. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you already are subscribed, make sure you hit that little bell icon right next to that subscribe button. That way you get notified every time I upload. That way you're not missing any cool, great content here. So, what would you choose here? Between a rim brake bike, whether that be a V brake, cantilever brake, or your normal C-clamp brake you'd have on a road bike, or should you choose disc brakes? As we've all seen, disc brakes are taking much more effect into the cycling industry. Everybody's trying to get disc brakes on their bikes. Why is that the case? Why is everyone trying to change from a rim brake to a disc brake? Well, first let's talk about rim brakes. Rim brakes have been around for a long time. Every bike I've ridden with has either had a coaster brake, a rim brake, up until some of my newer bikes here that have the disc brakes. Have there been any problems with them? Every disc brake, every type of brake system has its own kind of issues, but a coaster brake is going to be obviously powered by your feet. You can't pedal forward at the same time you're hitting the brakes. So if you're hitting the brakes, you're stopping. Rim brakes, they do have to, pretty much going to be around your rim here. If you get mud, if you're like riding in the mud or in the dirt and you get stuff in between where the brakes would close, obviously that can keep that rim brake from closing down. Also, if you get mud or dirt or water or anything on your actual rim surface itself, that can cause that rim brake to slip and therefore not really do its job very well. It also squeaks really loud. So that is kind of downfall with rim brakes as well. Another downfall is your wheel has to be perfectly true. Otherwise, you can't adjust that rim brake close enough and well enough to be able to stop you well enough to really do anything. If your wheel is not true, obviously you're going to have that wheel kind of bouncing back and forth through the pads, and it's going to be rubbing, and they're going to be stopping you, slowing you down, and it's going to be a pain. So that's kind of downfalls and the reasons why you have a rim brake there. Why do people go with rim brakes on their bikes? Well, cost is going to be a big part in there. Rim brakes are a lot cheaper to put on a bike, a lot easier to set up, a lot easier to ultimately put on these bikes that they're selling to you. Now, why are most people going to disc brakes now? As we've seen, a lot of bikes nowadays, even road bikes, are starting to come with disc brakes, which blows my mind. I thought I would just see mountain bikes that have disc brakes. Why would you go disc brakes? Well, you're gonna have two different types. I'm gonna break it down here. You're gonna have your cable operated disc brakes and then your hydraulic disc brakes. Most bikes you see that are gonna be on the lower price end are gonna have a cable actuated disc brake. What is that? It's essentially the same thing as a rim brake. Really, if you look at a disc brake, it's pretty much two pads and your rotor in the middle. And as that rotor spins and you hit the brakes, the pads close. So same general idea as a rim brake, it's just going to be focused on that little disc on the actual wheel. So what's the benefit of that? Well, obviously with how a disc caliper is set up, it's made to clear the mud, clear the dirt, clear everything out of there. And really it's a smaller surface for any contaminants, dirt, mud, water, anything to get on. So that's why it functions much better being down at the center of the hub versus on the outside of the wheel. Very simple, very efficient at doing their job. That's mechanical disc brakes. Hydraulic disc brakes can work much more like your vehicle, like your car. Same kind of function, except versus a cable pull. It's going to be based on hydraulic pressure through your brake lever here. I have done a bunch of videos talking about the hydraulic disc brakes, how to set them up and how they work. Take a look at those. I'll post a link in the description and up at the top here so you guys can take a look at those. Same kind of thing, just much more powerful. Think of your car brakes. Those things can stop a car. These are just ones I have on my Superfly and on my wife's bike and on the dirt jumper. They're just all single piston calipers. They're just very basic, but they have by far more stopping power than a rim brake does. So very improved braking power, much better in wet and muddy conditions, and ultimately just helps you have control of the bike more. You know what braking power you're expected to see each time you hit the brakes versus a rim brake. You never know what's going to be on your rim, or if you get in an crash at all, you're able to still brake with your disc brake versus if your wheel gets bent, you're kind of hosed. You're not going anywhere. So I hope that helped. If you guys have any other suggestions or any other tips about choosing between a rim brake and a disc brake, make sure you post them down below in the comments. Greatly appreciate you guys' input. And until next time, thanks for watching.